For Illinois farmer Gary Niemeyer, it's a slow time of year, spent indoors fixing equipment, not outdoors tending his fields. All of his corn and soybeans are harvested in what has turned out to be a good year.
This is the largest amount of corn we've had ever.
Not just on his farm, but nationwide.
We're talking 14.5 billion bushel of corn. That's a lot of production.
You can drive by just about any elevator out here in the country and see some pretty large piles of corn that's covered that are outside of the bins. That is a direct result of a lot of the carryover from last year, i.e. we need to move this, we need to create that market demand and get the product moving.
Mark Gebhardt is the Executive Director of Governmental Affairs and Commodities for the Illinois Farm Bureau and says up to half of Illinois corn and even more soybeans are exported.
Usually we say every other row of beans is going into that export market or that foreign market somewhere.
But Niemeyer wants to increase that.
We have overproduced for our domestic market. Our profits are going to lie in the amount of exports we are able to secure in the future.
Which is why Niemeyer is looking for some indication by President Donald Trump on the current efforts to renegotiate the North American Free Trade Agreement, or NAFTA. Niemeyer is pleased with Trump's efforts to roll back environmental regulations and institute tax reform. But there was little hint of NAFTA's fate during a recent Trump speech to a farm group.
If anything was maybe left as an area of concern, it's still what's going to happen to that trade agreement.
Gebhardt says withdrawing from NAFTA could impact prices.
It's estimated that we would see potentially a 30-cent per bushel decrease in the corn price and 15 cents on the soybean side.
That would be huge. Price of corn is about $3.30 a bushel, so $3 corn, it's hard to make anything work, even with a large yield.
Niemeyer wants a final NAFTA agreement soon, so negotiators can focus more on new trade agreements that could help move the supply that is literally piled up in the U.S. Gebhardt says the world is watching the negotiations for clues on how reliable the U.S. is as a trading partner under President Trump.
It's a short-term issue for us to make sure we don't lose ground as we try to renegotiate NAFTA, but I think long-term, it is what kind of a signal do you send as a reliable trading partner to the rest of the world that if you enter into this agreement with the United States, you know that you are going to be able to get that product that you've agreed to buy.
President Trump has recently suggested a deadline extension for modernizing NAFTA, which means the uncertainty for farmers like Niemeyer could extend into March or April, when he's preparing to put a new crop in the ground during planting season. Kane, Farabaugh, VOA News, Springfield, Illinois.